Series Phase 2 in association with SIDBI in the spirit of Azad Ka Amrit Mahotsav to promote Stand Up India scheme of the Government of India. Today, our webinar is on dairy farming and dairy products distributionship. The moment one is born, milk is the first and foremost food all of us have, and milk is one which fortifies and provides us calcium, and the dairy products include vitamin D, A, magnesium, zinc, protein, which is very essential from a baby to the childhood until we become old. A day starts with coffee, and most of us have coffee only then our work starts. And we end with milk in the night before we sleep. I take this wonderful opportunity to welcome our esteemed speakers of the day. Our expert speaker, Mr. Kumar, founder of Daria Dairy Farms. Our motivational speaker, Mr. Rajagopal, founder, Raja's Dairy Farm. Our SUI beneficiary, Mrs. Anita P. and Mrs. Sandhya Ravi Mohan, Chief Manager, retired from Punjab National Bank, Chennai. I'm honored to welcome Shri C.S. Tanvi, CGM, Miss Poonam Chainani, Miss Anamika Rajkumari, Mr. Abhijit Das, Mr. Dinesh Prasad, Ms. Ritu Giridhar from the SIDBI. I am delighted to welcome our National Management Committee. A special welcome to our Vice President, Mrs. Madhu Tyagi ma'am, and Mrs. Nidhi Toshnibal.
फाइल सी है तो उस पर आप करोगे जहां हमारे अब्दुल के थे वो हमने कर दिए हाँ तो फाइल है फाइल में से देख के
as well as the webinar series officials and the technical team. I also welcome the other chapter presidents and members, especially the Tamil Nadu chapter team. I take this opportunity and I'm very happy to welcome our young students, the future of our country, as well as the job creators. A warm welcome to one and all. May I now request Mrs. Aparna Darcy, the Vice Chairperson, Webinar Series, Proprietor, Aparna Jute Creations, manufacturing eco-friendly jute bags for the past 11 years, to speak about COWE. Over to you, Mrs. Aparna Darcy.
Thank you so much, Maslinji. A very good afternoon to one and all. I'm very much honored to talk about COWE. Yes, COWE, Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs of India, of the women, for the women, and by the women. Started on 22nd November 2004 by 6 successful first-generation women entrepreneurs with 22 members. Not-for-profit business organization under Section 25 of Companies Law, with a vision to be a national association of women business owners that propels women entrepreneurs into economic and political spheres of power. And our mission includes promote affiliation and spread COWE activities across India, create centers of excellence for women to gain knowledge, develop skills, provide infrastructure, access to resources, and promote marketing avenues to further their businesses, to inculcate entrepreneurship culture among young women and facilitate in shaping ideas into business. Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs of India, headquartered in Hyderabad with 13 chapters all over India, such as Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and West Bengal with 1,000 plus strong member team. We are the only NGO who has signed MOU with NSIC to take their programs to grassroots. Best Business Association by FAPSI, and our certifications include registration with NGO Dapan, have 80G certificate, have 12A IT exemption certificate registered under FCRA ISO 9001-2015 certification and Gold NABET certification. Our achievements are we mentored 1 lakh plus women in 17 years on the board of NIMSME, NSIC, MSME, and AP State Government Industrial Task Force. We are registered technical agency under NIMSME for Spurti scheme, registered as hand-holding agency on Stand Up India portal, registered under the National Skill Development Center as training center to provide skill development courses, signed MOAs with international women associations such as Wabank USA, We Connect Org, South African and Sri Lankan Women Associations, associated with WeHub Government of Telangana, AIC CCMB Biotech and Life Sciences, IIMR Foodtech, SAYS, University of Hyderabad, XSOL DU. So what we do in COWE is we do marketing linkages, and we conduct training programs, seminars, workshops, and conferences. We do business networking, mentoring and support, infrastructure support, and we do CSR projects, counseling and knowledge dissemination, advocacy with government, linkages with partners. COWE supports a woman entrepreneur
Nimi,
from the
please close.
ideation stage
Mini,
to success.
Nimi, please mute yourself. Karthik, mute all.
Karthik,
Other
please
than the
mute
speaker.
everyone except Aparna.
Karthik,
Ma'am?
unmute Aparna, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Unmute Aparna and Marceline also. That's all. Please mute everyone else.
Please unmute Aparna, madam.
I have given message, ma'am.
We do marketing linkages through exhibitions at national and international levels. We do organize COWE International Lifestyle Exhibition, and COWE Mart is our brand for our expos. We have tie-ups with online and offline partners such as Amazon Saheli. We connect Our Money Talks Startup TV, and we do virtual exhibition also at the COVID times by name cowemart.com. Until now, we have conducted 26 national exhibitions with 3,000 plus participants with 10 plus crore in business, 15 international exhibitions in 12 countries with 200 plus participants, with most coming back with businesses. We do conduct training programs such as EDP, Entrepreneurship Development Program, ESDP, Entrepreneurship Skill Development Programs, and workshops. Till now, we have 75 plus EDPs and 80 plus ESDPs with 3,600 participants and 900 plus becoming entrepreneurs. And we conducted 60 plus workshops with about 3,000 plus participants. And we also organize seminars and conferences on specific subjects or sectors. During COVID times, we converted them to webinars, but we didn't stop. And we also conduct national and international conferences, and we got tied up with other business associations and groups to ensure participation by our members in other seminar and conferences. Till now, we conducted 100 plus webinars, and conferences with 5,000 plus participants. So we also do business networking through WhatsApp groups by selling and buying from each other, and large networking events to help women network, and brand walks and sales meetings to encourage sharing of products. We do regular networking meetings to discuss issues of entrepreneurs, B2B marketing with PSUs, large MNCs, and with each other. Till now, we conducted 58 networking events with 5,000 plus participants. We do mentoring and support with experienced entrepreneurs, mentoring the new ones. We do conduct links to consultants and professionals in various fields, help with funding agencies, connect with governmental agencies, affiliated with incubation and acceleration. We also have infrastructure support by establishing a dedicated 30-acre industrial estate for women, the first of its kind in Asia at Tupran in Medak district of Telangana. Andhra Pradesh government has sanctioned 30 units for women entrepreneurs from COWE under their industrial cluster scheme. CSR projects. COWE works with various companies on their CSR activities involving women empowerment and entrepreneurship. Daycare centers in industrial parks in association with SIDBI. We do advocacy with government, sharing government realities, ground realities with reports and surveys. We are on the board of MSME and executive committee of NIMSME, part of state government, AP State Industrial Task Force, and part of VHub of Telangana government. COWE, the only women organization invited for budget webinar with Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji and Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji in February 2021. We do counseling and knowledge dissemination. We act as a medium for transferring information to entrepreneurs from government bodies, banks, and other financial institutions, industrial bodies, international bodies. Via email, blogs, meetings, seminars, WhatsApp. Exposure tours. We also conduct exposure tours. Industry specific and international trips also. We have linkages with our key partners like MSME, SIDBI, SBI, Ministry of Women and Child Welfare Department, NIMSME, FICCI, Business and Youth Starting Together, PhD Chamber, FAPSI, UN Women, and We Connect. So, Young COWE. COWE also encourages youngsters to become entrepreneurs. We have MOUs with academic institutions in empowering young women through entrepreneurship. We create awareness about entrepreneurs among students. We organize industrial visits to COWE member companies for the students to make them actively participate in all COWE events. We also conducted a business idea competition with the name Fempreneurs on the International Women's Day. Our COWE plan for the next 3 years is certification of women entrepreneurs and daycare centers in 20 industrial areas, COWE Heart, a marketplace for women entrepreneurs, incubated in 3 states, develop micro clusters, investment for women entrepreneurs, expansion of Young COWE, COWE Mart, a virtual marketplace for women for B2C and B2B for all the 365 days, and also we focused on expansion of chapters to 4 more states. With this, I'm very happy to share you about our COWE, Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs of India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Aparna. Am I audible? Am I loud?
Yes, you're fine.
Yeah, thank you so much. May I now request Ms. Poonam Chainani, AGM, UMB SIDBI, to say a few words. Over to Ms. Poonam.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I am Poonam Chainani, AGM SIDBI, and today I'll be, highlighting some of the features of the Stand Up India scheme, which is one of the key mission schemes of the government of India. But before I speak about Stand Up India scheme, I would like to just briefly tell you all about SIDBI and its role in the MSME ecosystem. SIDBI was established under an Act of Parliament in 1990 and has been mandated to serve as a principal financial institution for promotion, financing, and development of the MSME sector. Now, in accordance with this mandate, SIDBI has been entrusted with managing the Stand Up India scheme of Government of India, and SIDBI has been taking various initiatives to increase the outreach of the scheme, create awareness about it. So one such initiative has been where we have collaborated with COWE to bring to you this wonderful webinar series called Swavlamban Sashakt Webinar Series Part 2 to give fillip to the Stand Up India scheme. So now I'd like to just briefly tell you about some of the important features of Stand Up India scheme. Now, this scheme was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister on 15th of August 2015 and was launched on April 5, 2016. with the main objective was to promote bank financing for greenfield enterprises, which are promoted by SC, ST, and women entrepreneurs. Now, when I say greenfield enterprises here, I mean the first time venture of a beneficiary. It could be in the field of manufacturing, services, or a trading sector. Now, the amount that the person or the entrepreneur would be eligible for under the scheme ranges from rupees 10 lakh to rupees 1 crore. This loan can be availed from any of the scheduled commercial banks. It could be a private bank, public bank, or a regional rural bank. And under this scheme, the government has set a target, has given a target to the banks, which the target is to sanction a loan to at least one scheduled caste or scheduled tribe borrower and at least one woman borrower per bank branch. And this, as I said, is meant for setting up a greenfield enterprises in manufacturing, services, or the trading sector. The scheme has been extended till FY 2025. Last year, in the Union Budget 2021, two main announcements were made to increase the scope of the scheme. First one was to bring down the margin money that is required to be brought in by the borrower, that was reduced from 25% to just 15% of the project cost. And second, another important announcement was to include the activities which are allied to agriculture, like pisciculture, beekeeping, even dairy, that we are going to discuss today, has been brought under the ambit of the scheme. Another very important feature is that what security would be required. This is a main concern. When you seek a loan, what security will the person be required to give to the banker? Now, under this scheme, besides the primary security, the loan could be secured by a credit guarantee scheme for Stand Up India, and it could also be secured by a collateral security. Now, this call is taken by the banker that you are going to approach for loan. Now, there are three ways in which you can apply for the loan. Is when you directly go to the bank branch, you can personally visit and submit your application with any of the scheduled commercial banks. Second, which is much easier, is through two important portals. One is standupmitra.in and other one is udyamimitra.in. Both these portals you can visit anytime, anywhere. You can apply for loan. And third is you can approach your lead district manager. Every district has a lead district manager. You can approach your LDM and a little bit about the Udyam Mitra portal, just briefly to highlight. On Udyam Mitra, apart from applying for the loan, you can even get handholding. There are handholding agencies available which can help you in preparing your project profile, in application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc. There are more than 300 plus project profiles ready-made, which we have already put on the portal, which can help you in preparing your project profile and application filing, etc.
Poonam Chanani for highlighting us about the role of SIDBI and the loans. Now we have the much awaited expert session. We have with us Mr. Kumar, the founder proprietor of Daria Dairy Farms, distributor of dairy products, who is with the IT and ITES industrial background. who took up the challenge to set up a benchmark in operating on agri-dairy based organization. An alumni of Loyola College Chennai, has an expertise in the area of farming with a strong back end and front end team at the management and operational level. I do just would like to tell that this moment that today Mr. Kumar he had a like an allergy, and in the morning for our session he had gone and taken medicine and he has joined today. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for joining the session, and over to you, Mr. Kumar. Participants, kindly make a note. You can raise your queries in the chat box. So as and when the session is over, we'll pick up the questions and the expert speaker will answer your queries. Thank you so much. And once again, over to you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, Ms. Dr. Maslin. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for this opportunity. I think the last speaker had presented about the SUI approach and so on very well. So here I am to speak about how to go about a dairy business, basically. So we're based out of Tiruvannamalai. That is the background of the picture that you see, probably. Do you have my slide? Can I share my slide?
Karthik?
I'll
Search PPT. Yeah. Yeah, we can see the PPT.
You can see that?
Yeah, visible.
No. Okay. Anyway, basically, giving an introduction into dairy, Dr. Maslin or Dr. Apana, somebody spoke about milk being the first food that you actually consume. So yes, dairy being a daily nutrition need has always been given the importance and importance to grow across the world. Barring a few countries where they were not given the opportunity, primarily based on various reasons, mostly economical. So today, the world's production of dairy milk stands at about 450 million metric tons. And India is the largest milk producer and the consumer with the largest herd as well. We have about 300 head counts as per the statistics of 2021, I think. India alone produces about 20% of the total global milk, and that stands at about 187 million tons. The per capita production of milk is probably the highest in New Zealand and Australia, where the dairy industry holds a very prominent position. There is a huge gap in spite of all these large productions, especially in countries like the Gulf, which is the premium market. And then there are countries like Singapore, which are smaller in stature and cannot have, a dairy farm kind of a setup. There are many such countries, and but they all do need milk. So there is a gap, and this gap is being filled by exports from countries like New Zealand and Australia. We, India, being the largest producer, are still not there in catering to the export possibilities to the premium markets and so on. So in Tamil Nadu, the total milk production is around 140 lakh liters per day, with Chennai alone consuming about 25 lakh liters, met by mostly Avin, which supplies between 11 to 12 lakh liters per day. And then the private players. The private players, if you see, have actually mushroomed after the year 2000 and so on. Earlier, if you noticed, there was only Hudson, but today there are about 8-9 players who are pretty present in almost every corner of the Chennai market and across Tamil Nadu. And I suppose this is the status in almost every state as well. There are a lot of private players in an organized setup with huge investments and so on. So in Chennai, if you see, there are about 3 lakh liters of unpackaged and unprocessed sector, of which only about 25,000 liters are met by new age raw milk supplying farms or societies or private milk collection companies. Primarily someone like us. We actually end up supplying raw milk to our customers in the form of packed in bottles and so on. And yes, so to give you all an intro about Daria, Daria Farms was established as a personal farm for our personal needs way back in 2012. The fatigue of the corporate life. So basically, I ran two companies, one Spectrum BPO, and then in 2014 we established T2S Office Solutions, which we sold in 2018 to our own client who's UK based. And UK they're called Food Hub, similar to Swiggy and Zomato. They're number two in UK. Their growth was predominantly from us because when they started, they had just about 30 customers, and today they have over 20,000 customers, and we are the only backend team for them. We are doing, catering to all their verticals. So anyway, that is no more mine. In 2018, we sold that. Okay. And the constant desire to work with nature and nature-related activities drove us to go beyond our personal needs and look at the dairy and agriculture as one of the biggest opportunities, complementing our personal satisfaction. When I say this, it is basically I was mentioning this earlier to many people. When they ask me what is your desire to start this, it basically boils down to holy books. If you look at, the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or the Bible, the riches of people were measured by the number of cattle they had, number of horses they had, and so on. So that is one of my key, motivational point to have really started this. So today we serve over 1,200 customers across the city of Chennai, where between 500 to 600 customers are our direct customers, and the rest will be part of our other agricultural products, and also dairy-derived products like butter, cheese, not cheese, but cottage cheese, which is basically the paneer. So value-added products currently we offer our traditionally processed ghee, which is basically from milk to curd to butter to ghee. Mostly today, ghee is processed by taking the fat out of the milk straight away using a cream separator, which is not the right process to actually have good ghee. So we have gone back in tradition and we have started this ghee. We do about 250 liters of pure ghee every month, and we do about 100 kgs of butter every month. And then we launched Gavya Paneer made from A2 milk using organic lemon juice, no citric acids of any kind, and no vinegar. Of course, in the organic lemon juice, there is citric, and that is all that we use. So we're on the verge of launching natural rose milk made from A2 milk again, and real rose petals. We're working with the team in Ooty to work on the flavor, natural flavor. So coming back to how you go about doing a dairy-based business, I would, meaning I have actually faced a lot of difficulties, and in fact, we have failed for a long, long time before we could actually, stand up and say, yes, we can continue to do this business, and this can bring in some profits. So the areas that we did not really take into account, and from experience, I've put across what is important. So number one will be the market. Without the market, you really can't do anything. I mean, whatever you make, if there's no market, then you cannot, bring in a revenue stream. So without a revenue stream, there is no business. In business, you're looking to make profit. It's not charity. It is not to give away free. So obviously, you have to look for the market. And market in terms of dairy is huge, across the country, not only from the point of view of milk, but also from the value-added products. It is important that when you start a business, how you can cover that market, what is the gap in that market, and what is the size of that market. If the size of the market is, let's say, 1,000 liters a day, and if there are 10 players having 200 liters, obviously someone is going to fail badly. Obviously, the first ones may have some advantage, and obviously, someone who can invest more or stay longer may have an advantage. So it becomes more challenging, more difficult to sustain such market. So you need to ascertain where you're going to position your product, to whom you're going to position your product, and how you're going to do it. So the market analysis is absolutely important. Number two is manpower. Manpower, I mean, we are the second largest populated country in the world, but we probably have the highest shortage of manpower, be it skilled or be it no skilled. That is the status we are in today. So you have to analyze what is the scope of getting the right manpower for yourself, for your farm, for your distribution, for your marketing, for your processing, and so on. The third thing is planning. Planning, when I say planning, it's in the form of the farm design, the shelter, and the shelter or shed, however you call it, for the cattle, for the fodder planning, cattle care planning, and so on. This is very critical because the well-being of your cattle will reflect in the kind of production you have, and it will reflect in the kind of output, which obviously turns into your cash flow. The next thing is the investment. Yes, this is probably the biggest obstacle for many of them to get into any kind of business. The first thing is to access the access to loans and other financial facilities, how to get it, from whom to get it, and from where to get it. And I believe if people listen to people like Dr. Poonam Chandani, who just spoke, I think that there will be a lot of clarity in this kind of information. Then, of course, the operational infrastructure, which requires chilling, cold rooms, transportation, packaging, labeling. Now, when you're a small dairy, none of this may be needed. A freezer would be enough to set up and start and go on. But when you start growing and with your size becoming larger, when you grow beyond 150 liters, 200 liters, you obviously need a chilling plant, a cold room. You need to rework on your transportation because your market will expand, and you need to label and package your product well so that it is conceived well, and the freshness and so on. And then, of course, the last point is the willingness and the motivation to keep going. This is a very important factor, because if you're not happy doing something, it's not going to really work out as good as you expect it to. So, in terms of investments and key requirements, we will focus on commercial size operations and not look into household based activities. In commercial sizes, we believe the bigger the better. And the key factors that can decide the size for successful operations are landholding. Landholding can decide how many cattle you have and so on. Historically, and based on certain various inputs given by organizations like KVK, your local agricultural divisions and all that, if you see, the norm is that 1 acre of land can suffice for 10 count of cattle. Practically, I've seen that you need a little bit more, but yes, 1 acre can suffice with a lot of developments today in terms of feeds and so on. But yes, if you have at least an acre for every 10 cows, it would be great. Labor status of the area, which I mentioned earlier, and investment capability, again, how much you can put in, how much you can withstand, and for how long you can withstand, who can support you, from where you can get it. That is important. Ability to market, yes, market, I've mentioned much earlier, that is the key for you, and how you can invest into the marketing. You need to plan that. There are different ways of marketing, flyers distribution, paper advertisement, radio announcements, and so on. So how you going to fund it, and what is your expected return on that? These are things that have to be studied well. And from there, I will just give you all a brief about how a small sized farm probably would look. Hello.
Yeah.
So a small scale dairy unit, we're looking at about 10 cattle as a small size dairy unit. Now, an approximate cost of cattle, be it the HF breed or the Jersey breed, which is basically the breeds imported from Europe and so on, and during the White Revolution, it costs about 45,000 to up to about 60,000, depending on the milk production, the age, and the status of the pregnancy, and so on. And then to construct a shed for them, it would be about 900 rupees for per square feet. This would include your the staying space for the cattle, the feeding area for the cattle, water area. Many a times I've seen sheds plant wherein there is a feeding area, but there's no water area, which means the cattle actually struggle for the water. They feed the water maybe once in the morning and once in the evening, but I think water should be available almost all the time, because you never know when they are thirsty, because they can't really speak about it. So you make it available, I think it is better. And our standing housing that we look at is about 4 feet breadth and about 10 feet length, so about 40 square feet per cattle. So which means if you want to have 10 cattle, you need a shed of about 600 square feet, which would be the minimum. So 600 square feet at rupees 900 per square feet. I think it's about 5 lakhs odd. And then a small chiller unit or a freezer unit is enough if you're saving milk and selling. If you're directly selling to maybe the locality that you're in. It may be difficult to market milk from a small unit to cities if you're located a little far. because of the transportation cost involved and the requirements for transportation. So probably you will be just catering to the local market where it will, you don't need you technically don't need a chilling unit and so on, because morning you can send it off and evening you can send it off. And if you look at all of these put together, you might need about 12 lakhs to start the unit. And this excludes the land cost, not included the land cost here. I'm assuming that you probably have the land. So based on a small scale unit for the size that I spoke about, assuming that 70% of the cattle yield an average of 8 liters per day, it is about 54 liters, in a day. So if you get even 40 rupees, which is not the case, like in Kerala, you get this kind of rate. In Andhra, you can get this kind of rate, but in Tamil Nadu, you get an average of 32 to 34 rupees or so. So even if you assume you're directly selling to customers, so you get about 40 rupees. So which means you probably earn about 2,160 rupees per day. Average cost per cattle would be about, the labor would be about 50, which is one couple at the rate of 500 rupees per day. So you divide it by 10 cattle that you have, even though only 7 will be, milking for you. But your cost is incurred for 10 cows. So you divide by 10. So you get 50 rupees per cattle per day. The cattle feed, again, when I say cattle feed, it is, it is what do you call, the pellets and so on, which is a cotton seeds, groundnut cakes, your maize, your corn, and so on. They add, some of these companies add nearly 18 different ingredients in them. We personally have only about 7 to 8 ingredients, and we make our own feed for our cows. It is possible for us because we are a little larger in size, so we buy in larger quantities and make them and keep them. So dry grass and other green feeds, which is the key feeding for the cattle, I'm taking at the rate of rupees 3 per kg, which is what it would cost if you're growing on your own land. So that you need to feed at least about 20 kgs minimum, and that will be about 60 rupees a cattle. So therefore, the cost would be about 1,900. So this minus the expected revenue of 2,160, you make a profit of 260 per day, which is about 7% return per year. So mostly these small size dairy farms are not, they don't engage labor and so on. So that cost of that labor also adds to their income. It's mostly run by the man of the home or the woman of the home, and they probably have one helper who would be about 300, 400 rupees per day and so on. Sometimes they don't have that also if they can manage it themselves. So the next I'm going to talk about is the medium-sized dairy, which is where we started off with. All costs mentioned in the small dairy unit will apply in terms of cattle share, cost, and shed. Additional requirements will be, shelter for the staff. In a small dairy unit, most probably, they don't stay there, or it's mostly they don't stay there. The family that owns it will be close to the farm also. But in a medium size, you are looking at a professional operation now. So when you're looking at a professional operation, you need to provide a proper place for the staffs to stay, a dignified place, I would say, which is not the case in most of the farms. They don't even have a toilet in many farms, but this is important. Then storage of cattle feeds, because you have larger number of cows now, you cannot keep buying every now and then. You need to plan it and have a storage space so that your feed is constantly available. Dry grass is very important because dry grass is the feed that you can rely on during rainy seasons or during very hot periods as well, because you can't graze the cows if they're very hot. You can't graze the cows if it's raining, and your staff cannot go cut the grass if it's raining, and it becomes difficult in those times. So the adequate the dry grass needs to be stored and safely stored, without it getting wet and so on. And then processing units. See, when you become a bigger size, your milk output is much higher. Now we are looking at different options of marketing. So if you're looking at different options of marketing, you will put up a processing unit based on what you require. In some cases, you will just chill and send it to somebody. In some cases, you'll pack it like us. We pack in bottles and send it to Chennai. Our farmers in Tiruvannamalai and Dindivanam. So both these milks are packed and then sent out to Chennai. So our processing unit will be different. So it depends on what you're going to do. There are some farms which just do value-added products. For them, just one chilling unit is enough, and they may need some other different equipments, like maybe a boiler or maybe a ghee making unit or a goa making unit and so on. And then of course backup. Backup is absolutely important as far as milk goes, because most of the time, I mean, this was an issue way back. I don't remember when, but I remember seeing this. milk was getting spoiled for many of these people all across India because the summer was very hot and they couldn't really preserve the milk well. And electricity supply was erratic in most times, in most of these states, and it was a big issue. So you need a backup, and if you're going professional, yes, you need a backup, and it has to be available at any point in time. Either solar or generators, small time generators, big size generators, whatever that can make sure that you can preserve your milk. So at Daria Farms, we started out in this category, and we are growing towards a larger unit of 200 cows. Currently, at about 80 cows from 2 farms. Our investment has been over 1.5 crores, with some overrun of cost due to lack of experience and knowledge in this industry earlier. Like I said, we started in 2012, but there was not much involvement until 2017 when the Jallikattu happened. After the Jallikattu happened, we realized how people are perceiving the dairy sector, the agriculture sector, and so on. So we thought that there was a gap to be filled, and we saw that that is an opportunity for us to step out of the IT sector and move close to the nature. So that is how we saw that, and we came in. And after 2017, 2018, it was a very difficult phase for us when we started. A lot of money was going in, but results were a little poor. Primarily because we did not have the experience and knowledge, and across, we didn't have any mentoring as well. So it was quite a challenge. But today, yes, we are in a different shape. We understand what we need to do and so on. So we are now looking to grow at over 200 cows, in each of the farms. And just to give you all an input, in India, we consider a 10 cattle size as a small farm, 40, 50 cows as a mid-sized farm, and 100 plus 200 cows as a bigger farm. But this is not the case in the European or Australian, New Zealand markets. Over there, a large farm is anything above the herd size of 1,500 cows. Anything which is mid-size is between 500 to 1,000, so on. Anything small is about 2,000 and so on. Because of the kind of landholding that is there, and because of the weather conditions, because of the nutrition that is being available there. So that's all the differences as far as the size, how we consider size. So in a mid-sized dairy farm like ourselves, the expectation is about 60% of cows yielding. See, in dairy, this is one big challenge which many people miss. They calculate it very wrongly at the start itself. They think the cows will keep giving milk. It's not true. The cows will give you milk only from the time it has given birth to about 7 to 10 months, depending on the kind of cow you have. If you have a native cow, 7 to 8 months is the best. You will get the best of milk. After which it will dry down or it will be a trickle down. And if you have a Jersey or HF, it will go on to maybe 10 months. But beyond that, that will also trickle down or dry down. So then you get them pregnant, and you don't get them pregnant at that late stage. You try to get them pregnant by the 4th month or 5th month, and then they again give birth in the next 10 months. So the cycle goes on like that. But you have a dry period of 5 to 6 months. Most of the people miss this dry period. Most of the people, when they do their analysis for dairy farm, they miss this dry period. But this dry period is a very critical thing that you have to take into account. So at 60% with 40 cattle, we're looking at 24 cattle yielding average of 8 liters, which is about 192 liters. 192 liters now, because you're directly selling to the customers or the dealers that you have, you probably get the lowest price of 58. We, as Daria Farms, we sell two variants of milk. One is the Kangrij and Ger milk, which is basically the cow cost is more higher in these two categories, and so we sell them at 94 rupees. The Sahiwal, Retsindi, and Rati, we sell them at 81 rupees. So, but in the market, I've noticed that there are people who supply milk at 55, 60, and so on. So I've taken 58 as for the purpose of this calculation. So you see, and you get a revenue of about 11,136. Cost per cattle would be higher here due to increase in labor, higher feed ratio, and processing units, and so on. So I've taken all the cost of what a small scale unit would need and added what extra would be done over here. So average cost per cattle per day per labor would be about 50, because you will have the same ratio of labor. So it's going to be similar to your smaller unit. And then cattle feed cost will be about 80, because you're looking to make more milk and other facilities that you have to give. You probably add a little more in your feed and all that, and the cost goes up over there. So instead of 4 kgs, you probably give 5 kgs, and so on. Dry grass and other feeds, yes, that has to be added. Then processing cost, it will be about 5 rupees per milk, packing and so on. And then electricity and other maintenance, of course. Now here in today's circumstances, there's a lot of difference in terms of feed. There is a lot of other avenues available, but they all cost you. For example, if you don't have dry grass and green feeds, you probably can buy silages, but silages cost you about 7 rupees, 7 rupees 50 paisa per kg. It makes it expensive for you. And then you probably could do hydroponics. Hydroponics that can cost you about 5 rupees per kg. So that difference will be there. So your cost will go up according to how you're maintaining, and what would be the end result of that would be based on what you feed the cows. So other requirements based on your product objective would be the processing unit, like I mentioned. The different ideas will need different things. Like for example, to make paneer, you need a paneer press. To have a paneer press, you need a compressor. You need a paneer cutting machine, and you need what do you call, a vacuum sealer and so on. So so your cost will vary on that. So if you're just boiling the milk and making it available for something else, then you just need a boiler or so. A small size boiler would be about 15,000 rupees for 15 liters. But when you go for larger size, it will vary according to that. So again, bulk milk chillers, or what we call as BMC or BMT, the starting range is about 150,000 for a size of about 150 to 200 liters per day. But these are critically needed for a mid-sized farm or a large-sized farm, primarily because this will help you save the milk and save the freshness of the milk. I would just want to give an input on how milk is basically. See, milk contains good bacteria and bad bacteria, and these bacteria multiply at a very fast pace after 1 hour of milking. So that 1 hour is very critical. In that 1 hour, if you bring down the milk temperature to less than 10, the bacteria has become dormant. If you bring them below 2 degrees, or at about 2 degrees, they're almost like they're in they're inactive completely. So the freshness of the milk, just when you milked it from the udder of the cow, remains as it is. So when you go to the customer, the freshness will be so good that there's no separation of the milk and the fat. There is no difference in the smell. There's no difference in the taste and so on. So it is important that you have a BMC. And then of course packaging units, depending on how you're going to the market. Suppose you're packing in for polythene covers, there are different kinds of polythene covers. So you have automatic units in upwards of 2 lakhs per machine, and semi-automatic machines which are available for 20,000 or less. And then transportation is your key differentiator in terms of how you can play it against your competition, depending on how far you are, what is the volume you're doing, and so on. For example, for us, we were doing 150 liters, 200 liters way back in 2019 or so, 2019, 2020 even. At that time, we were having a Bolero, and Bolero would cost us about 4,000 rupees a day, up and down from Tiruvannamalai. So now my transportation cost alone is about 15 to 20 rupees per liter, in this case. So even if I'm selling at this rate, my margins are very, very limited. So now we moved on to a Tata 407, and we went on to about 500 liters. And, that now has brought down our cost to somewhere around 12 rupees per liter, because it's about 6,000 rupees per trip now. But for us, we have added other products, because of which the transportation cost gets amortized over the other products as well. So you have to really plan that well, and how you maintain the chilling while transporting and so on. If you don't have your own transportation, it probably would cost you about 20 rupees per kilometer, and the vehicle may not suit transporting your dairy products. So you need to really plan it well. So distribution, mostly the delivery boys, or your dealer margin. Either you give the dealers a margin and they distribute, or you pay the delivery person and have your own distribution. Either ways, it will touch you about 7.5 rupees per liter. So other options of feeds, like I mentioned, are silage, which is about 7.5 rupees, and hydroponics, which is about 5 rupees. So these are the options that you have to maintain across your maintain the health of your cattle and so on in terms of feeds. So when you're doing dairy unit, one other thing you can add to your dairy unit is the poultry farm. When I say poultry farm, it doesn't mean that you mix them along with the cattle. You keep them away, but have a small area, and maintain them, maybe a limited quantity or limited number, and they can give you some daily revenues, because the care and the time involved in maintaining a a poultry farm is very, very limited. See, in dairy farm, you're on hands on 24/7, literally 24/7. Maybe when you're sleeping, you're not. But the day hours you have to, because the milking has to be done at the milking time, the feeding has to be done at the feeding time. You can't skip that. You skip that, it'll affect your output. You skip the pregnancy status, it will hurt you. So dairy is like your full-time hands-on, whereas poultry, it is not so. It is Poultry is a little more easier, and you can have different output based on different breeds that you have. Basically, the country chicken varieties would probably give you between 70 to 90 eggs per year. The traditional, original country chicken variety. There are some improvements in them by some modification of the DNA and all that, where some of these chickens give up to even 150 eggs. But again, they are not something that we encourage or we really look at. We started as dairy farms focusing on the Kadaknat chicken. Kadaknat primarily we focus for two things: for the nutrition value and something different from the rest. And they yield better. They yield about 120 eggs per year. So it doesn't mean poultry doesn't mean that you get eggs every day. You would also, there is a cycle for that as well. But that definitely contributes to your daily revenue at much lesser, involvement and much lesser investment options. So this can complement with the dairy farm, and we actually have done the same. And we look at it in a bigger way for the future as well, from not only from the egg market but also from the meat market. So yes, coming to the ROI, like I discussed, I think it's the sky is the limit if you know exactly how to go about it. Sky is not the limit, I would say, because in dairy farm, after every year, things can multiply. So your patience and your withholding capacity will play a very important role. Over a period of time, the cows multiply, but you have to stay focused in terms of the pregnancy, in terms of their healthcare, in terms of their ability to give birth and so on. So the feeding has to be uniform or better every time. The data maintained should be up to date for the upkeep of the status of their pregnancy, their insemination time, and so on. We actually do insemination right now because we don't have a proper bull yet. We are developing two of them, so probably the natural one also will happen very soon. But in India, scientifically, it has been stated that the insemination is more successful than the natural mating. So, but that has to be kept in mind, and this has to this will help you grow over a period of time. In the dairy industry, your first year is fine because you buy cows which are either pregnant or milking. But from your next year is when the struggle starts. So you need to really plan it well, and you really need to stay to it. And 4-5 years down the line, you will see that your herds have multiplied even without you knowing if you've done the right job. And then you see that milk has grown exponentially, and you don't know what to do with it. That is how it happened with us, and that I hope that is how it will happen with everybody else who plans to start the dairy industry. Please do look at all these factors, and then you would be successful for sure, because milk till to date is in demand, is in short supply, in spite of us being the largest milk producer. So COWE, yes, India's first organization for women entrepreneurs. I personally was amazed when I visited their website. I saw the kind of role that they play. I was telling them jokingly the other day, I wish I was a woman to enjoy the benefits of all that you'll offer. But yes, it is an amazing effort that you all take. And they are literally playing the role of a mother, holding your hand holding you to become successful, from finding means to feed you, to leading you to achieve greater results. COWE is your partner all the way. Every woman who thinks of entrepreneurship must visit COWE before setting out. COWE will build the road for you. SIDBI, of course, all of you know, they're an nationally renowned bank supporting all the MSc activities. An amazing effort from both these ambitious organizations, the fruits of which can actually not only give personal growth to the beneficiaries, but to the society at large, to the various end results of every single effort. Thank you all so much, and I believe this particular scheme, the SUI, is I looked up the website at COWE and I saw that it is extended up to 2025 with a special focus on ST and SC women entrepreneurs. I wish and hope everyone looks up and has an opportunity to know about SUI and then take up the opportunities with the assistance of SUI. So, and I also take this opportunity in closing that I would like to invite each one of you to visit Daria Farms along with your family, especially the children. We are located in our village, Thiruvannamalai. You will find us on Google Maps as well. So you come here, you can get your hands dirty, hands and legs dirty, go back to the roots of agriculture. You can look at the cows, feed the cows, pray to the cows, do your go puja, whatever you want. So please do come in, and thank you all so much for this opportunity. I'm open to questions now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. Your journey was so interesting. And participants, please, you can post the questions in the chat box and we have our expert to answer that. Yeah, there's a question for you. 2018 was just in time, Mr. Kumar. How did you build the required capacity in the alien field?
See, honestly, what happened is I said 2012 we started, and we had a lot of difficulties to maintain and so on because of manpower, and we were working in Chennai, and we were employing people to take care of it and things. But in all those difficulties, what we noticed is that over a period of time, the cattle were multiplying slowly, and then we started getting more milk than we wanted. So we were supplying to our friends and families and neighbors, free of cost. Once in a week, one of our vehicle will go, they'll bring the milk from there and give it. So when the Jallikattu came about, then we realized the potential and we realized what people are yearning for. And we realized that, okay, what we're getting, and I started doing some research with milk. I was actually shocked to see what we were consuming, that are coming from this organized sector, so-called organized sector. The milk that you drink is not milk at all. So I don't know if I can get into that subject, so I don't want to take away the time. So, but yes, this natural milk from the cow and how it is being brought in today, I think it gives a little bit of purity, authenticity of the product that you'll have. And we saw that you take care of the cows in a basic way. They will start giving you. They will start multiplying. When they start multiplying, your output obviously increases. So that is how we build the scale. But now going in commercially, we started buying extra cows. We're going to Gujarat and we're buying directly from there.
Marceline, you're on mute. Dr. Marceline?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. There's another question in my WhatsApp from my student. She's asking, I don't have a land. How do I go for dairy farming?
See, do you want me to give a honest answer, or do you want me to say? See, I'll give you an honest answer. If you don't have your own land, don't do it. You work a little bit more, or you work with your institutions and try to raise more money, buy your own land. Because I'll tell you why. In dairy, one of your biggest components is the shelter, the feeds that you will put in. That land, you cannot do anything else other than, if you grow the feeds for cows, that really don't think.
We have completed digraph. In next class, we'll be learning about trigraphs.
So like I said, if you are leasing land from someone and when you have to vacate, all that you invest, the building, the sheds, everything, they all go, they all would lose its value completely. So don't do dairy if you don't have enough land. You can look at chicken, the poultry.
Yeah, thank you so much. There is another person who says that she's Mamta. She says,
I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Mrs. Dr. Marceline. I'm not able to hear you.
Thank you so much for the answer, which you had a true answer, which you given to the student. There's another person by name Mamta. She says, I want to take Mr. Kumar as my mentor. She's so impressed.
Of course, yes.
I said, no worries, I'll give you the contact details.
We can share our experience, but I'm sure when they're new, they're more inquisitive and they come up with better ideas. So she can be my mentor.
Thank you so much. That was so wonderful. Yes. Now we have our motivational speaker, Mr. K. Rajagopal, the founder of Raja's Dairy Farm. He always believes in demand for good food. With the help of his family and employees, he wanted to work non-stop with a ready growth for future. So over to Mr. Rajagopal for a motivational session.
Good afternoon, all. So everyone can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Rajagopal.
Yes. Thank you. Can you play the slide?
Karthik? Yeah. Yes.
So I am Rajagopal. So from Raja's Dairy Farm. Our brand name is Anil Milk. Initially, my background is I'm an engineer, so working in an oil and gas industry. So we started this Raja's Dairy Farm around in 2016 with a very plain idea. So I don't have much experience in cows and those. So I just learned. Made a crash course in University Research Center from a government aided college. So this is a snapshot from our farm. So basically, I had some 10 cows initially we had. So about 1 year, we struggled a lot in maintaining cows, how to maintain cows, so feed and what Sir said. So initially, we had a lot of troubles. So what we did is we started selling to the private companies like Arogya or Milk, but that was not profitable. So what we did is we planned to sell directly to the customers. So my farm is around 100 kilometers from Chennai. So what I did is I privately took my car. So I took the milk on the car and then I came to Chennai and then I packed in Chennai and I sold it. This is how we started. So even though I personally packed those milk in bottles and then I delivered personally. So initially we were selling around 10 liters. So now, Karthik, you can go for next slide. Karthik?
Karthik, please move
Yes,
the
sir.
slide.
Yes.
Next. Next slide.
Ma'am, Apanam, ma'am, was like struck to ma'am.
Got stuck.
Okay,
huh?
Karthik. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just I'll share it.
Okay. So, okay. So, so I'll just make a continuity. So we were just selling 10 liters per day in that time. So we were selling at, but our expenses were a little bit high. So what made is like we have to think big and trust yourself, and everything will happen. The next slide. No, the previous one. No, no. You have to go back. Yeah, okay. So one step back. Yeah, back. Now you're going forward. You need to just go back. Yeah. So this is a typical 1,000 liter BMC. Now we are selling around 1,000 liters per day. So mostly, unlike Daria farms, we just collect milk from the villages, and we pack them, and we sell them directly to our customers. We have three bottling systems. One is direct selling, and one is franchise, and one more is a bulk models. So we cater to all types of customers. So that's why we are able to sell up to 1,000 liters per day. Next slide. This slide speaks about the advantages of dairy business. So advantages, your demand will be always increasing. We are just we are just a drop in the ocean. So there is a huge demand in this business. Next slide. The most good thing in this business is you have a lot of suppliers for cow milk, and there is a lot of customers who need good cow milk. So your easiest part is just you have to connect these two people with proper packing system and proper management. The only thing you need to do is has to be a bridge between these two people. So there is a lot of potential in this business. So next. Compared to early 90s and 2020, technology has improved a lot. Either you have a BMC, you have a IBP, you have a instant chiller. So preserving the milk, you have a freezer unit. Lot of technologies are evolved now. So you can have a better business in this by using the latest technology, water for chilling. See, now the refrigerated van has become common now in dairy industries. Previously, it was not the case. So technology helps us more in this field now. Next slide. So government loans and subsidies. So there are more government loans available and subsidies, especially to dairy markets. So we personally getting subsidized electricity bill, EB bill. We have a category for 3A in Tamil Nadu for the subsidy of dairy. So you'll get subsidies so 30 to 35% subsidies from government and for the dairy industry. Next one. So the major key factors contribute to the development of any business, particularly in dairy business. You have to have a vision. So you have to have a fixed target. So where we are going to be in the next year. So accordingly, we have to plan the infrastructure, whatever is there. We have to budget or any technical advice, guidance, cash flow, everything. We have to have a vision to move ahead. Then you have to have a practical business plan. Don't make any theoretical business plans. Just make what exactly the cost happening in the market. Do a survey, and then get the practical business plan. Consistency. So consistency means you have to be so consistent in quality, and you should be consistent in what you do, what you give every day. So consistency is the main in the daily business. So so commitment. So whatever you do, be very well committed with your this thing, business plans. So you need to be having measuring progress in your day-to-day business. So you should be measuring whether you are going up or down. There should be a constant measuring in your progress, which helps you in developing yourselves and knowing the status of your business. So measure your progress and do self-analysis on what you're missing. Next slide. Other key features. So there is a direct benefit from unlike other business. You are in dairy farm and dairy business. You have a byproducts. So you can have more. There are more than 10 byproducts. You can choose from those byproducts. See, like Milky Mist, they don't come in milk business. They are only doing paneer and cheese and curd. You can't see a Milky Mist in milk business. So that is a very vast area byproducts. So if you don't want to be in a milk business which is highly perishable, you can just shift your focus into byproducts. And there is variety of business models. You can directly sell to your customers, like you have a variety of customers like hotels, street stalls, and the companies, retail. So you have n number of options in there. You're not limited to a single option there. So you again coming to budget. So for me, like we started having a budget up to 2 to 3 lakhs. So initially our budget we started is 10 lakhs. Within 10 lakhs, we are able to achieve 1,000 liter capacity of business per day. So this budget is not a limitation here unless you have a separate farm. So you can, if you are opting for collecting and selling your milk, very limited amount of budget is enough. And the workforce you need is readily available in villages. So no, there is not a requirement of very skilled persons in this field, unless only for very key positioning you need a skilled laborers. And the beauty in the milk business is if you do volumes, you have, even though the margin is very little, you can earn more. For example, for 1,000 liters, your margin is like 1 rupee per liter. You will earn 1,000 rupees per day. So that's the beauty of the milk business. So you can have profit when you handle it very good, in a very good manner. Next slide. Again, success is not an activity but a progress. So you should keep targets, and you should keep progressing on your target. Then success will automatically come to your business. Next slide. The key success is to focus on the goals, not on the obstacles. Don't let you down by any major obstacles or any major issues. So you have to pass on. So that's the main key focus on the goal. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajagopal. It was really motivating to understand that dairy farming is so easy, and we can also go in for it. Participants, do you have any questions? Please kindly raise or put in the chat box. Yeah. Let's move on now to the Stand Up India application process, a walkthrough. Karthik?
Yes, ma'am, sharing.
Screen. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So here is the loan process, how to apply for the Stand Up India loan application. So for that, first of all, we need to visit the website, that is www.standupmitra.in. After we visit this website, here is a tab with the which is apply here if we require the loan facility. And when we will click here, it will take us to this new registration page. In this, we need to choose the option of new entrepreneur. Actually, as we know, this Stand Up India loan is for the new businesses. So we'll choose this option. Here it will ask for the name, email ID, and mobile number in which we will receive the OTP. So after that, we'll click on this generate OTP option. After this, the OTP will be received on our mobile phone. This OTP we will enter here and we will verify the same. After we enter the OTP and it is verified, it will show us this, that the registration is successful. Basically, this first step is to register ourselves on the website of udyamimitra.in. After this page will open, which will ask for our basic personal details, which will be, few areas will be pre-filled like mobile, email ID and name that we had entered in the previous pages. After that, we'll fill this page and we'll submit it. So we will be registered in the Udyami Mitra portal. Then after that, this page will open, which will give us the option of applying for loan. So for applying for loan, here is this tab, Loan Application Center. We have this another tab that is Hand-Holding Agency. COWE is the part of this hand-holding agency. There are many agencies that give us the guidance, and if there is any issue, they support us regarding the loan application. So these are the various agencies that are associated with SIDBI for this. For applying for the loan, we'll click on this tab, Loan Application Center. Then this will show us the various kinds of loans that are available under the scheme. So as per our eligibility and terms and conditions, we can apply. And to understand that, we can click on this read more to understand the various loans criteria. After we choose our loan, for like if I
Should I repeat again, ma'am? Hello?
What happened?
Video is completed, ma'am. Should I repeat again?
No.
Thank you so much. Now we have with us a banker, Mrs. Sandhya Ravi Mohan, Chief Manager, retired Punjab National Bank. She was an acclaimed leader at school and at college level. She has secured many prizes and won many awards. She was the branch head for over 18 years in the rural, metro, corporate, retail branches. She had received many awards in recognition of her meritorious services. Above all, she has helped many entrepreneurs in getting the SUI loans. For many beneficiaries, she was a very helping hand. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Maslin. I'm very happy to associate myself. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So once again, good evening to you, and I'm happy to associate myself in this platform and explain about the Stand Up India scheme, my experiences, as well as expectations. Expectations of a banker. No, from the prospective, I won't say borrowers, I will call them as prospective beneficiaries, prospective entrepreneurs. That will be the right way. Let us not use the word borrower, because you're young entrepreneurs. So, more so, my voice as a banker, I would love to share. Such a wonderful scheme this is. And our respected AGM from SIDBI has already mentioned about the features of the Stand Up India scheme. I go down and recapitulate and tell the intricacies embedded in the scheme for the better understanding of the beneficiaries. So, realistic schemes are formulated by the government for the upliftment of the society. So, potential borrowers are identified and properly guided and molded by various organizations. I need not know. Everybody knows very well that COWE is doing a wonderful job and contribution as a hand-holding agency, supporting agency to identify the prospective beneficiaries. So they are guided and molded by various organizations, and the one and only outlet of the scheme or execution of the plan, the financial strength lies in the hands of a banker. Banker alone makes the scheme possible at the implementation level so that it reaches the beneficiaries at large and it penetrates into the society. So, taken the various government schemes to reach the public at large with a passion, and this Stand Up India scheme definitely has its inherent advantages. And I have even wished that I were a beneficiary instead of a banker while having after knowing the various advantages provided in the scheme. So, as mentioned earlier, this Stand Up India scheme was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister on April 5th, 2016 to coincide with the 125th birth anniversary of Dr. Ambedkar. And the scheme seeks to leverage the institutional credit structure to reach out the underserved sector of people belonging to SC, ST, and women entrepreneurs. So as to enable them to participate in the economic growth of the nation, to promote entrepreneurship at the grassroots level for the economic empowerment and for the employment creation. See, the objective of the Stand Up India scheme is to facilitate bank loans from 10 lakhs to 100 lakhs, that is 10 lakhs to 1 crore, to at least one scheduled caste, one scheduled tribe, or a woman beneficiary, and in setting up of a greenfield project. What do you mean by greenfield project? A greenfield means it is an entirely new business venture. This business venture must be new. It should be set up a brand new venture. It should be. It's called as greenfield. And it can be in manufacturing, in trading, in service sector, and in the last union budget, even agriculture and allied activities are also included. And in the case of non-individual enterprise, at least 51% of the shareholding and the controlling powers should be held by either SC, ST or a woman entrepreneur. Then, having seen the objective of the scheme, down the line we travel to the eligibility. So, naturally, who will be eligible? The aspirant who are seeking the loan should be from SC, ST or a woman entrepreneur above 18 years of age. 18 years, that's all. So, catch them young is the maxim. And the government of India has got a lot of faith in the Gen Next people. So, they have prescribed only 18 years to be eligible to seek a loan from a banker. So, loan is given for only greenfield projects, and just first time, they should be the first time beneficiary. And they may, in fact, now there may be some two questions rising in the mind. When they have prescribed the minimum age 18 years, is there any maximum age? The natural question will be raised in everybody's mind. But yes, no, the scheme does not give any cap for the maximum age. But yes, bankers are always practical bankers. So we look forward for persons who are young, and of course, with persons who have crossed the age of 50 can always give a supportive role to the Gen X people, and they may involve themselves as a partner. So we want a combination of the experience as well as expertise. Okay. And the moratorium, like once you set up a business, naturally it will take time for the business to reap profit. So the repayment period is 7 years, including the moratorium of 18 months. So what is meant by moratorium? Moratorium is nothing but a repayment holiday. For 18 months, there is no question of repaying the loan. You have to only concentrate on the business to start earning profit. The business naturally will reach a break even. Break even stage is that where there is no profit nor loss. After the break even point reaches, then the unit will start earning income. So 7 years is the repayment period, including a repayment holiday, which we call as moratorium of 18 months. And what will be the nature of the loan? Here, no, because intricacies I am trying to say, nature of the loan will be a composite term loan as well as a working capital finance. To just simplify, I will tell an example. There was an export garment unit in one of the branches where I was heading. I had given a loan for a garment factory. There, you require a lot of tailoring machines. So, since it is a ready-made garment exporting unit, a lot of additional features in every machine. See, there were 5 machines required to only have the buttons, 5 machines only to stitch the pockets of the shirt and apparels like that. Everything, this collar, for everything there are various types of tailoring machines with additional features. So composite. So for that, machineries are called as, we give that loan component as term loan, because they are all fixed. You are creating an asset out of the bank loan. So the machineries are always financed through the term loan, where the repayment, no, it will be EMI. We call it as equated monthly installment. It will be, the loan will be repaid in month-wise or quarterly repayment. Sometimes for bigger finance, even half-yearly the installment we just frame. So this is called as the term loan. It is for the fixed assets of the unit. But the unit also requires day-to-day management. For that, they require, say, for example, to buy the raw material of various types of cloths, then thread, buttons, so many other. For that, they require the working capital. So working capital finance for this type of unit, if it is 10 lakhs, we call it as overdraft. If it is above 10 lakhs, we call it as cash credit. It is a running account. Suppose we fix up a limit of 20 lakhs. See, this is a unit of 50 lakhs. 30 lakhs we disbursed for buying the various types of tailoring machines. 20 lakhs we have fixed up the cash credit limit. In that, suppose today they are drawing only 2 lakhs, only for 2 lakhs the interest will be charged. It is to run the business on day-to-day basis, where funds required is disbursed in the form of a working capital. So then what is the purpose? The purpose is to set up a new enterprise, either in manufacturing, either in trading or service or agriculture and allied activities, which were recently included. And any beneficiary will be worried also about the financial burden. What will be the financial burden? What will be the rate of interest? Naturally, there will be a worry. It will be concern for them. But I tell you, this is the very, very minimum. All government schemes are floated with a very bare minimum rate of interest. Here, this is only the lowest rate of interest applicable for that category. Rating category is must not exceed base rate, which is MCLR plus 3% plus this tenor premium we call. That is all technical terms. You just understand that the rate of interest will be as low as 8.20% or 8.15%. And for 20 lakhs and above, we have a scoring model where the rate of interest will range from 7.5 to 11.90 depending upon the score. That is all technical aspect. Then we go down to security. See, any loan from the banker's point of view, it must be secured. Why? Because how do the bankers lend money? The bankers lend money not from their own purses. I don't lend in my, as a branch said, I don't give money from my own purse. The function of banking, what is a banking business? It is accepting deposits for the purpose of lending. So bankers, they accept deposits from the public by paying a rate of interest, and they disburse that funds to the public themselves. So they get the money from a different sector of public, and a different sector of public, they lend money. Naturally, the funds which they raise as deposits from the public, when the public demands the deposit, they must repay them. So while lending also, the bankers, that is why they adopt prudential lending norms, we call that. So they always want to have a secured loan. Everything goes good, fine. Everything goes good, the business picks up, the business yields the profit, the repayment happens regularly. All these are normal happening. But what if something happens and the business is not able to run the what it was expected to run? It faces some challenges, some hardship, something like no, in the case of floods, no, last 2016 Chennai was flooded. So many units, so many units where we had lent. The water, even for photo studio and all, the water logged in. It was just all the equipments were damaged. Of course, government at that time helped and they relaxed all the repayment period, everything they gave concessions. All that is a different story. But this is all okay. For this, there is a support from the government or from the banker, from the insurance. All this is there. But something happens. Say if it is in a partnership, the partners don't see eye to eye and the business collapses. What happens to the bank's money involved while giving the loan? It is a public money which the bank has lent. So how will the banker get back the loan from the borrower? How will he get back? So for that, it is called as security. We always think that every loan should be secured. As I told you, while buying the machines of 30 lakhs, we have the machinery that any asset created out of bank's own funds, that is called as primary security. In addition to the primary security, bankers also obtain what is called as collateral security. Collateral is over and above the primary security. So we would have given for 30 lakhs, but once you sell the already used machines in the market, we may fetch you only 20 lakhs. What will happen to the 10 lakhs? For that, to have a cushion against that, we are expecting the borrower to give some other security in the form of house property, any constructed flat or something. But here also, government, they have floated a credit guarantee fund trust scheme, CGTFSIL, we call here as credit guarantee. This guarantee cover is given. So this banker, you need not worry. You don't worry about this loan. Agar if it fails, if the loan fails, we are here giving you the assurance that we will make good the loss. We will make good the repayment. We will repay the loan on behalf of the borrower. This is an assurance which is given by the credit guarantee fund trust scheme for a small guarantee fee on depending upon the quantum of the loan. The guarantee institution, they take a fee, a very nominal amount. As per the quantum of the loan, they have a percentage of the guarantee fee commission every month if they pay. It is charged annually also. So in that case, the guarantee is given. Hey, Baba, you don't worry. You give the loan. In case it fails, we will repay you. This is a great strength for the bankers because without collateral, we are answerable to the public for the bank. Now, that risk is covered by the CGFSIL, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust Scheme for this Stand-up India loans, CGFSIL. So this is a great level of comfort to the banker, and why not bankers will come forward? Definitely they will be coming with all the readiness. Yeah, this loan is secured. So we will definitely consider this loan in a positive way. This is because this is giving a positive approach for the bankers because of this comfort of the cover given by the CGFSIL. And then margin money is also another important factor. Margin, what is called as margin money? Margin money is nothing but the beneficiary's own contribution. Even in a small example I can quote, say in a family also, mother's birthday is there. So any child, as a daughter, we may plan to give a small gift to mother. But we have the pocket money, but that is not enough for the gift. So we take money from father. So father's money and our savings, small savings, pocket money, may what we have said, put together, we give a fabulous gift to the mother. How much satisfaction you get. When the mother is also so happy, she tells others, so my daughter has saved this from her pocket money and she has given me gift on this birthday. And you also feel very, very happy. From my own savings, I have cut down my expenses, I have saved, and from that I have given a gift to my mother. But yes, of course, with father's help. So, in the same way, margin money is your own contribution. Suppose you are taking a loan of, say, 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs is the loan. If all the money is given by the banker, what is the involvement or what is the stake the beneficiary or the borrower is having? No, there won't be that much involvement or that much inspiration to do. It will not be there. So margin money is the own contribution which the beneficiary has to bring in. And from 25% last year, they have reduced to only 15%. Okay, that is the margin money is your own contribution. So scheme envisages 15% as margin money. Of course, it can be provided in convergence with the eligible and central or state government schemes. Along with that, while such schemes can be drawn upon for availing admissible subsidies, of course, here subsidies are not here in this scheme. So if the borrower is required to bring, minimum of 10% of the project cost, government has own contribution. So if a state scheme supports a borrower with 20% of the project cost, in any case, the borrower has to bring at least 10% as his own contribution. This is called as the margin money. And then comes the upfront fee. So in case of term loan, under this scheme, it is linked to disbursement and it shall be, this upfront fee shall be recovered proportionately at every stage. See, all the machines, out of 30 lakhs, so this month you may purchase machinery worth only 10 lakhs. Upfront fee is that fee which will be charged only for the 10 lakhs, not the entire 30 lakhs. As and when the disbursement takes place, upfront fee will be levied. So the Stand-up India is based on recognition of the challenges faced by SC, ST and women entrepreneurs in setting up enterprises and obtaining loans and other support needed from time to time. They need support from various institutions. So the scheme endeavors to create an eco-friendly system which facilitates and continues to provide a supportive environment for doing business. And all commercial banks are definitely are to process the loans under Stand-up India scheme. So the approach to the bank will be by the potential borrowers in 3 different ways. There are 3 different ways. One is directly they can go and knock at the doors of any branch bank. Directly, any branch you can go for any nationalized bank, you can go and you can meet the branch head, and the branch head will guide you as to how to apply for the loan. Then through SIDBI's this SUP portal was explained, and what are the questions raised in the portal, how to fill up, everything was explained very well. And then after this dedicated portal, then through lead district managers. So in the villages and all, they can have a lead district manager, and through them also they can apply. And this dedicated, there is a dedicated portal, and it is a digital platform as explained. It is an interactive portal for all the support services, like whether you require training, whether you require any skill development, whether you require any guidance, whether margin money is you are ready, whether anything else to be arranged, and any crucial links to central and state government corporations or SCST organizations, everything the portal provides. So the portal provides for hand-holding support and providing information on financing, as well as this, they talk about this credit guarantee. So hand-holding support, as I mentioned you earlier, and our speaker also, no, Sri R.S. Kumar also mentioned that COWE is like a mother, extending the hand and taking the beneficiaries in the right path. So they actually, hello?
Yes, ma'am. We have to finish it within 2 hours.
Okay. So the portal has a ready borrower and trainee borrower. So as a hand-holding agency, COWE is doing a laudable service because it guides gods, and 70% of the work of our bankers' work is done by COWE. So there are also interactive sessions where there is every 3 months the beneficiaries meet and they discuss on their problems, of the challenges faced, and any solutions. That is also very welcome gesture, welcome feature inherent in the scheme. There is a grievance redressal portal also. So I only want to touch upon one point, because banker, you don't think that they are very strict. They ask you n number of questions. It's not like that. Bankers are very friendly. I only request you all to be transparent and be frank. In case any problem you face, you kindly talk to them at the incipient stage. Don't hide anything. Please be frank and please be transparent, and please be careful about your CIR. CIR is nothing but the credit information report, wherein there should not be your past dues. Main qualification to get loan from a banker is to have nil dues. Your credit card or your earlier loans and all should have been repaid very, very regularly. Otherwise, you become an NPA person. NPA is non-performing. So please keep your credit information report flawless and be transparent to a banker. Bankers are always very friendly and helpful. In fact, during this COVID situation, there were so much of restructuring done. And only because of the practical approach, the government is also taking a very practical view. They are extending the repayment period. They are giving lot of concessions. So nothing to fear. It only takes a minute to dry a falling tear. It only takes a minute to give a helping hand. And yes, COWE is giving you a helping hand. And please avail this scheme. Let this scheme penetrate into the society, and you all you reap the benefits inherent in the scheme. And banker is always with you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, you're like an encyclopedia in giving us knowledge about so many things. And as we say, we shouldn't hide anything to the doctor and to the advocate. We should never hide anything to the banker. This is the take home for us. Thank you so much, Sandhya ma'am. Now we move on to the SUI beneficiary. Karthik? we have with us our SUI beneficiary. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we have with us our SUI beneficiary, Mrs. Anita P. Anita is the founder of Bluebird Clothings, a successful women entrepreneur who is a knitted garment manufacturer who exports to US and European countries. She will now share her journey with the SUI loan benefits. A glimpse of her factory. Over to you, Miss Anita.
Good evening, one and all. First of all, I should thank COVID team for finding me as a Stand Up India beneficiary among many beneficiaries. I am Anita Subramanian, proprietor Bluebird Garments, Tirupur, Tamil Nadu. A proud beneficiary of Stand Up India scheme and a woman entrepreneur. Our nature of business is manufacturing and textile industry. I have completed my graduation in MCOM and worked as an audit assistant in a consultancy for a year. Later got passion in textile and fashion industry. Textile industry plays a significant role in Indian economy. Textile industry is primarily concerned with the design, production and distribution of yarn, cloth and clothing. After agriculture, this industry has generated huge employment for both skilled and unskilled labor. It is the second largest employment generating sector in India. It offers direct employment to over 35 million in the country. We can say that the textile industry provides us with a good, valuable source of income for many people all over the world. The joy of dressing is an art. Fashion is a part of daily life and it changes all the time with all events. If you have a passion for fashion, then definitely we can do it. So that was my dream come true with my own business. With the help, support, and of my husband, he is working in an textile company for more than 12 years in financial sector and also in production. So we have got a hello.
Oh, yes, sir. We can
We can
hear
hear
you.
you. We can hear you.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay. Yeah, okay. As
Please
with the
switch on your
supporting of
camera, please. Switch on your camera, Anita.
yeah, okay, ma'am.
Continue,
Yeah, thank
Anita.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. With the help of my husband, I was able to start with this business. So once while he was discussing with the bank manager about the loan for my business, the banker has approached us to find this scheme for the women entrepreneur scheme under Stand Up India.
From that, we have applied in the Stand Up India portal and a women entrepreneur by selecting a branch and the bank. Our bank is called UCO Bank, the main branch group. Then the bankers have got the notification about the application sent by us and they contact us to tell about the nature of business and the project. As we discussed with the auditor and we prepared a project for a loan, then we submitted to the bank. Then the loan amount we sanctioned in the project was about 48 lakhs. So after all procedures in the project, the bank was satisfied with the project cost. Then the bankers have sanctioned the letter without any collateral securities with a tenure of 7 years, that is 84 months. Later, within a month, we have got the amount disbursed in our account. Then we purchased the machinery and the equipment and found out the labor. Then we started a business in April 2019. Taking out a business loan is a big commitment. Our rate of interest is 9.20%. Our main area in manufacturing is for kids wear and the women clothing, knitted garments, and exporting to USA and European countries like Sweden, Germany, France, and Italy. We get orders through overseas markets from buying office or the buying house and the domestic orders through the middleman in the markets. Nearly 250 employees are working under us through direct and indirect mode. Our daily production would be about 1,500 to 2,000 units. Our turnover for the first year was 1 crore, and in the second year it was about 1.4 crore, and in the third year it was 3.5 crore. And for the upcoming year, we have planned to achieve a minimum of 5 crores. Our growth of in business for the next 5 years is to achieve up to 10 crore. The main challenge we faced in our business is about COVID. As we are exporting our orders to the other overseas countries, the COVID lockdown was the first situation we faced after starting our business. So we were not able to export our products at the desired time. Later, we faced the lockdown in our country also. After the lockdown, the labors were scattered, so it was very difficult to find out the labors again to employ new. And the next challenge we faced was rent. As we are set up in a rented building, it was difficult for us to pay the rents also at the lockdown. By God's grace, our building owner was a kind-hearted man, told us that we don't want to pay our rent for 2 months at the time of lockdown during the first wave and the second wave, both. So next challenge was about to pay the rate of interest. When we are thinking about how we can pay our interest while we are in a situation of lockdown, the government at the time announced that they told they don't want to pay the rate of interest for the current month so that they can pay their interest the future months. Then again, government has announced that COVID, like Corona loan called us. So for the first wave, we got about the amount of 8.8 lakhs from the bankers. Then again for the second wave, we got as 5 lakhs from the bank. So those amounts helped us to secure everything and we got back our business with a good condition. All the people, all the laborers came to us. We was working in a full-fledged way all the time. Finally, our last challenge was about the yarn pricing hike. Every month there will be a change in the price of yarn. So we cannot fix a price for yarn this month when the buyers give their own target of amount for a particular sample piece, we cannot fix the rate. Now the government is also taking steps to fix the price for the yarn. So we'll be hoping that the yarn price will be also a positive side for us to run our business very well. And the strength of the business is confident to work with a team with cooperation and coordination to put hard work to achieve our passion with patience in future. Our process of business starts from purchasing yarn, converting into the knitted cloth and sending it to the dyeing and compacting to get the good field of cloth, cutting according to the measurements, viewing, checking, packing, inspection and shipment to the overseas. The key things to follow while we are applying for this loan, main thing is we have to give a clear project report to the bankers and also the proper business plan to be given to them. And we should state the amount what we need clearly to them. Take a loan that one you can easily repay. Never ever borrow more than what you can repay. And our future plan is to employ 1,000 employees. In that 80 to 90%, we would like to employ women employees to create a new brand in our country. And invest in yourself first, the rest will follow you. Success is not about how much money you make. It's about the difference you make in people's life. Once you become fearless, life becomes limitless. So finally, act like a lady, think like a boss. Once again, I thank you for everyone to give this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you so
Anita,
much.
that is so wonderful to hear
Yes.
you.
Thank
And
you,
also
ma'am.
Sandhya ma'am, it's always so heartening. आप जब बोलते हैं तो ऐसे लगता है कि we can just go on listening to your inspiring talk.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anita. Do we have any questions to Anita? Yes. There's a question in my WhatsApp. They have asked,
Okay, ma'am.
how can a women face, what are the risks you have faced, they've asked, as a woman?
As a woman, first of all, I have to see my family also. So without family, we cannot do anything, ma'am. I have a kid also with 3 years. I have to take her also. That was the main risk. When she falls sick, I have to be with her. So at the same time, I have to go for the factory also. That was the risk. But my husband, he will be taking care of everything, ma'am. So he was one of my backbone.
Thank you so much, Anita. It's very nice. Always we say a woman, for behind a successful woman, behind a successful man, there is a woman. We are very happy to say that behind every successful woman, there is also a man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
that is correct, ma'am.
Anita. Thank you so much. We now invite Mrs. Rupa Khandelwal, the director at Sumaida Hotels Private Limited, Jaipur, Rajasthan, the executive secretary of the webinar series, the executive committee member of COWE Rajasthan, to give the concluding remarks.
Thank you, Marceline. Good evening. Continuing the Power Packed webinar series on various business modules, today's highly informative and useful webinar on dairy farming and dairy products distributorship started with the welcome address by the Tamil Nadu chapter president, Dr. Marceline. The session was taken forward by Ms. Aparna Darcy, Vice Chairperson, Webinar Series, who briefed us about COWE's vision and mission. Then we had Ms. Poonam Chainani, AGM, UMV, SIDBI, who threw light on the benefits and opportunities that Stand Up India scheme offers to budding entrepreneurs and SIDBI's role as the facilitator. The session was then taken over by our expert speaker from Daria Dairy Farms, Mr. R.S. Kumar, who shared his valuable insights and in-depth knowledge covering various aspects in the business of dairy farming. The session proceeded with our motivational speaker, Mr. K. Rajgopal, founder, Rajas Dairy Farms, under the brand name Annerai Milk, who shared his highly motivating success story. He showed us how dedication, potential, and correct strategy lead to development and growth of business. Ms. Sandhya Ravi Mohan, Chief Manager retired, Punjab National Bank, gave her suggestions and precautions from a banker's perspective on credit access available to women entrepreneurs under the Stand Up India scheme. The SUI beneficiary and entrepreneur, Ms. Anita P., founder and MD, Bluebird Clothings, shared her inspiring journey of how she executed her vision into reality, taking her business to new heights with the help of Stand Up India loan. Patience and commitment being her key factors. Thanks, and over to you, Marceline.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rupa, for the concluding remarks. All is well that ends well. But before that, I really love to read out the comments which our SUI beneficiary Anita has got Kudos, Anita. Wow, superb, Anita. Well done, Anita. And wishing you the very best to the future. So all is well that ends well. We have come to the end of the webinar. Now, may I request engineer Ranjini Ram, who is our chapter secretary, as well as Ranjini is an engineer who has become an entrepreneur, and she's a founder of Siran Foundation, Learn to Reach Career Twins. She goes and hits all the youngsters and see to that they are motivated and she's an acclaimed dancer, a traditional dancer. Over to you, Ranjini. Please propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Marceline ma'am. Good evening, all. I take this opportunity to thank our esteemed speaker for sharing their valuable knowledge and spending their valuable time with us. My thanks are due to our expert speaker, Mr. Kumar sir, founder of Daria Farms, our motivational speaker, Mr. Rajagopal, founder of Raja's Dairy Farm, and our SBI beneficiary, Mrs. Anita P. Thank you, ma'am. And Mrs. Sandhya Ravi Mogan, Chief Manager, retired of Punjab National Bank. Thank you, ma'am. I'm indebted to thank C.S. Tanvi, CGM, and Miss Poonam Chainani, Miss Anamika Rajkumari, Mr. Abjit Das, Mr. Dinesh Prasad, Miss Ritu Geeta from SIDBI. Thank you all. And our thanks are due to our National President, Miss Vandana ma'am, and NMC team, and especially Ms. Madhu Tyagi ma'am, as well as to the webinar series officials and back-end team for their constant support. My sincere thanks to the chapter presidents, all the entire COVID chapter presidents and members for their presence over here. My thanks to our TN chapter president, Dr. Marceline ma'am, and her team and EC members especially. I would be failing in duty if I don't thank the participants, especially to the young COVID students for their active participation here. We hope the webinar has a lot of take-homes to the job creators. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much for the wonderful webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I also would like to thank Ms. Aparna and as well as Ms. Rupa for being with us in all the sessions. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of the webinar. I think the participants can leave. Madhu ma'am, I think, can they leave? Nidhi ma'am?
Definitely. And it has been a wonderful webinar today, which is very, very insightful for the new entrepreneur, those who can take it up. And a lot of challenges also being shared that what all you may face. So that way we all are prepared to take it forward. Thank you very much for team Tamil Nadu who has taken up this topic and did a wonderful webinar on it. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marceline. Wonderful efforts by you, Ranjini, and the entire team, and our webinar team, Aparna, Rupa, and no words, Madhuji's support is always with us. And thank you for all the participants. Thank you to all of you who joined today. And we request you to join every second and fourth webinar, Wednesday, every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. We have these webinar series. We will be sending you the details and the invites. Please join us. It's going to be very inspirational and very impactful topics are there. Thank you to entire SIDBI team. It's always your support which makes us to, reach to our best level. Thank you so much. And Marceline, it was amazing. Everything, the effort you have put in. Thank you so much. Sandhya ma'am, Anita.
Nice
As usual, you are so inspiring. And Mr. Rajagopal and Mr. Kumar, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, immense pleasure to have such strong entrepreneurs with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Madhu, thank you so much.
Students, you can
Thank
leave
you.
now.
Thank you, Sandhya ji.
How are you?
I'm
Sandhya
good.
ma'am,
Thank you.
always a pleasure to hear you. Always.
My pleasure also. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
See you.
everyone.
Bye, bye. Bye, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Karthik, we can end the meeting, please. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Karthik.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you for doing the technical and back-end support for
And
us. Thank
to
you so
all
much.
the speakers.
Yeah, ma'am.
And
Thank you
also,
so
Thank you,
much.
everyone, ma'am. Thank you.
And to all
Also,
the speakers.
Sejal, she is our digital media coordinator.
After the graduation day, we throw our caps and say that it's over. Oh, it's over.
And if I was audible at that time, we want to thank Sejal also, Sejal Gursahani, who's our digital media handler. Thank you for doing the FB live for us, Sejal. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, thanks for the opportunity, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good work,
Masha,
Karthik.
please take
Good
care
work,
of your
Good work.
the allergy which you are talking. I was so worried. In fact, Kumarsha, please take care of yourself. The allergy which you are talking about, penicillin is very, very dangerous. Kindly take care.
Yes. I mean, I informed the doctor, but the doctor here was very busy on his phone.
No, it's very, very, it's life threatening. Kindly take care. And it's so nice of you to come and attend. I was wondering when you said, and I saw the picture of you also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all, and have a very pleasant evening.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Students, kindly please leave. It's over. You were all asking me, ma'am, when to leave, please leave. Okay. Thank you so much.
Marceline, congratulations. It started and ended on time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you
Yes,
all.
yes, very time bounded and
Yeah,
everything went on so well, Martin.
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
it went very well.
No, actually, I'm finishing my tenure, so I wanted to finish it with a nice ending. That's how I'm so happy. This webinar, I can now
Very nice. Now you can fly, Martin.
Yes, I have to fly to Meghalaya now. Thank you all.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, bye,
Bye,
bye, bye,
Aparna.
Bye, Rupaji. Yeah,
bye, Ranjini. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Bye, everyone.